Hello, welcome to the Retro Show. I'm Bearded Mike, and why am I at this screen? Well, I'm going to tell you about a project. For those who don't know me, or know me, I played EverQuest for a very long time, on and off. So, at the time I played EverQuest, this is like the boon of online games before World of Warcraft came out, and I always came back to EverQuest, and I still come back to EverQuest after all this time. However, this is a nice little project because you play like the game was in 1999. That's why it's called Project 1999, and it's done by all volunteer work, and it's been around for a couple of years now. I think 5 or 6 years. They celebrated their 6th year last October, and I guess it'll be 5 or 6 years this coming October. So I'm going to log in, and I'm going to hide, of course, my login information because you don't need to see that. And I'm gonna type in. I gotta come up with a better password that I can remember. All right. And as you can see, here's the server list. Now these are all, of course, servers that other people are running. Now, the funny thing is, sorry. I did play this a little bit a while ago. I played this a while ago, and the funny thing is, I was afraid because when I played this, Sony sold all their rights to all their online games, like all their EverQuest and H1Z1 and all those stuff online, to a company called Daybreak. Now, Daybreak is another company that deals with all this content now. Now, the funny thing is that I was afraid, I didn't want to play too much because when it was sold, I was afraid that they would say no and put a stop and cease to assist, whatever. But they didn't do that. They did the actual opposite. They got their blessing. And the only criteria at the time, they were coming out with a new server for EverQuest, and they said to hold off on their expansion. This expansion, which was the Scars of Ilios, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. So yeah, that's the short Cole's Notes version of this, and this plays like back in 1999 for the first. I think they're up to the 3rd expansion, and I don't think they're planning to make any more expansion because the experience is that you play the game from 1999, which I'm very interested in because it's old school. Now, I'm probably going to post this on my Facebook page, so anybody on my Facebook page, or even if on this video, if they want instructions on how to install this game, I will put a link below. And if there's enough requests, I'll make a video on how to install it. So I created a Dwarf Cleric. Not exactly the most exciting class, but everybody needs a healer. A couple of things I want to mention before I enter the game. So if you want to play this game, there's a couple of rules. The biggest rule is do not, and I repeat, do not 2-box. Now, if you don't know the concept of 2-boxing, that means playing on 2 separate accounts with 1 server. So you would either A, install it twice on the machine, run it 2 times with 2 separate accounts, and for instance, you play a warrior and a cleric, you'll just heal yourself, right? So that was big and popular. When the computers got more powerful, people were 2-boxing. Another way of doing it, if you had another machine next to you and you would just have like 2 keyboards, or use like a KVM switch to toggle between the 2 boxes, and again you would play the warrior and the priest, the cleric, and you would heal yourself while you're doing battle. So right now I'm just buffing this random dude. It's always nice to buff like level 1s or level 2s just to give them an extra boost to help play their characters. I always did that in the original EverQuest, and I keep doing this in this Project 1999, which is just nice. You get a lot of other people, and the community is really cool because like the other night I was with a group and I was healing, and this random dude just come over, looked at my gear, and gave me some gold and gave me a replacement from one of my armor slots. So, which is really nice. Now, why am I in the middle of all these corpses? Well, another thing about the original EverQuest, if you've never played this game, or you haven't played this game in a while, when you die, you go back to what's called your bind spot. That means the last where your character ends up either dying or is casting a spell called Gate, which goes back to your bind point. That means if you're in the middle of nowhere and you die, and you don't have a map, so you have to know where you are when you died, and then when you pop up, you have to go back and get all your loot, including all your money, because that doesn't go with you. So it's a bit of a challenge. It has like the fear of death, which is very rare in some games. You can't just save, reload the save, and continue on your merry way. You gotta really think about exactly where you are and plan for some kind of, I guess, emergency, or you have to ask the community to help either find your body and resurrect you. And speaking of resurrection, you lose XP. So just say you spend the whole night trying to get to level, I don't know, 20. And all of a sudden, you die. You lose XP, and you can lose levels. I've heard of people from the original EverQuest losing 2 to 3 levels because they died so many times. That means you have to die, lose your level, go back, get your corpse, and hopefully somebody will resurrect you, because there is some spells that will restore some of your XP, but not all. There's one more thing I wanted to point out. If anybody's played EverQuest, they should remember before the thing called the Bazaar, everybody sold in the East Common Lands, so this is right here. Another thing is, you can't just like log out like World of Warcraft, or even the new EverQuest. I think you can put stuff up for auction and then just leave. No, not only you have to leave your PC on your character, you have to be available. That's why if you see this in the auction chat, people are auctioning stuff, and they have to stay logged in to sell their stuff, which it's a lot of dedication for this game. There's another thing I want to mention about the interface. Because you're running this probably on a very modern PC, you can max out the settings. I don't like to use the original EverQuest UI. It's got that little marble thing happening and this little window. No, I like this interface. This is fine for me. I don't need to be that nostalgic. But you can maximize this. Put all the shaders on, put the clipping way up, whatever settings you want. It's pretty cool that I can actually maximize the settings. So the Astro character creation is all the old models. So no new unless there's some kind of way to activate the new models. I kind of like the new models. I don't know, because I played it for so long. Also, you know what? I'm not going to pronounce this because I can never pronounce it properly. I'm going to say the cat race. You can select them, but you don't have the expansion, so you can't select them and play them. And the same goes for any classes. So I can't choose the Beast Lord, and it says you need to own that expansion. So I'm going to wander around here, and one thing I'd like to point out is when I was wandering, this random stranger said, just hang on a second, he starts buffing me. Like, I don't know him, I've never met him, but he buffed me just because he's a nice guy, and I like this community, and I do kind of miss this on other online games. It's been a while since I played online games, but it's kind of nice. This random guy just comes up, was really nice, and just started to buff me, and off he went. And I said, thank you very much. He didn't want any gold or didn't want anything extra, just here you go, off you go. I still come to this game. I don't know why, maybe it's some kind of sickness, but I will be posting this on my Facebook. There's a lot of people on my Facebook, a few people on my Facebook that actually plays this game, and who knows, maybe somebody will watch it and play this game with me. I'll really enjoy playing with some friends again from my old community. So if you like these kind of videos, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give me a thumbs down. Any feedback would you like to give me, please give it in the comments below. Until the next video, this is Bearded Mike, hopefully not dying, signing off!